So greetings from Pennsylvania once again. This is the Monday after my Shenandoah National Park trip down in Virginia. But we're back here in Pennsylvania. We're gonna hike to a familiar place, to the Pinnacle, up here in my home county of Berks, right near Hamburg. But we're gonna go to it from a different direction than most people normally do. I'm gonna try something different today. So this is the parking lot for State Game Lands number 160. Of course, we are trying to get to every state game lands here in Pennsylvania. So we'll chalk this one off our list, although I've been to this one quite a few times. But for the sake of the series, we'll count this one here. But yeah, just up that way is Hawk Mountain. Out there's Hawk Mountain Road. So we've been here a number of times before. Even last fall, I put some of my trail cams up there for my Mountain Lions in Pennsylvania series. We got some really cool footage up there. That's why I saw my first bobcat up this trail too, last fall. Anyway, let's show you the map. We haven't looked at these maps for a while. These are my Appalachian Trail maps here in Pennsylvania from the Keystone Trail Association, but we are currently parked, let's find our spot right. We're currently parked right here, State Game Lands 160. We're gonna make our way up the Appalachian Trail, up to the Pinnacle right here. Now when most people hike up to the Pinnacle, they hike over here, they park over here by the Hamburg Reservoir, and then make their way up the Appalachian Trail this way to Pulpit Rock and then out to the Pinnacle, and then usually come up back some other way. This is about 4-ish miles. This will be a little bit longer, maybe just under 5 or something like that. So we're gonna see how it goes. I have done this whole section I'm going to do today. Back when I was doing my whole, trying to hike the whole Appalachian Trail in Pennsylvania, I hiked from the Hamburg Reservoir to this spot. I think I had someone drop me off at, we left my Jeep here and we had someone drop me off over at the Hamburg Reservoir. But I've never hiked from here up to just the Pinnacle. I want to see how it goes time-wise, because to be honest, over at the Hamburg Reservoir, the parking can get it gets kind of busy over there. This is kind of like an alternative place to get to the Pinnacle. So anyway, I just want to see what it's like, time it out, and I don't know, I just want to go for a hike this morning too. Oh yeah, also there's a cave up there at the Pinnacle. I've been up there before, but I wanted to do a story on the man that they found dead up there, frozen, back in 1977. It was a cold case for almost 50 years, but just recently they cracked that case and they discovered who he was. So I'm gonna do a video on that as well. All right, let's quit blabbing and start hiking up there. All right, so we'll leave the Jeep here. We'll start heading up. So yeah, this is just the access trail up to the Appalachian Trail. Like I said, we've done this hike up this way a number of times. I think the spot where I put the trail cams last fall is called Panther Springs. Yeah, these purple flowers, the Dame's rocket is blooming. They can be quite pretty when there's like whole swaths of them in one area. I mean, they're pretty on their own, but I'm just saying, this time of year you're driving down the roads, the back roads, they can just like be tons of them. Look really impressive. And after maybe half a mile, we join up with the Appalachian Trail here. It continues up the road we've been walking on, but it goes up that way too, towards the north. That's the way we came up. Looks a bit different than the last time we were up here. Last time was back in October. All the leaves were changing colors. It's a beautiful fall hike. Today it's a beautiful spring hike. Yeah, so we follow this road pretty much all the way to the Pinnacle. I think just to the very end there's not much of a road. Yes, like I said in the beginning of the video, several reasons for hiking out this way today. It's kind of really interested to see how long it's going to take me to get up there going this way. If you come up from the Hamburg Reservoir, hike to Pulpit Rock and then to the Pinnacle on the AT, it takes you about 2.5 hours, roughly. If you skip Pulpit Rock and go up another way, I did that about 1 hour and 45 minutes because I was kind of huffing it. I did that like at 4 in the morning. I was trying to get to the Pinnacle for the sunrise, which is absolutely amazing. I got a parking ticket when I got back though, because they thought I'd parked there all night. There's no overnight parking down at the Hamburg Reservoir, but anyway. But yeah, this could make a nice alternative to parking at the Hamburg Reservoir, which like I said, can get pretty crowded on weekends, especially if you're willing to skip the view at Pulpit Rock and just want to get to the Pinnacle. Of course, we're also, like I said, trying to get their state game lanes too. This is number 160, our third in the series. But yeah, no rush. I got all day to do this hike. It is a beautiful morning. And of course, up here just a ways, perhaps right up here, is where I saw my first bobcat in the wild. I'd just been thinking about that recently, prior to that, hey, you know, I've never seen thinking of some of the animals I've never actually seen that live here in Pennsylvania. And I saw one on that hike. That was really cool. I didn't capture it on video though, because I actually had my camera set down on the ground, filming me walk up to a spot. Remember the squirrel? I thought the squirrels were making all these scolding noises. I thought they were scolding me, but no, it was that bobcat. Because then we caught a bobcat on the trail cam that I put up here too. Lots of wildlife up here. We saw coyotes and bears on that trail cam, all kinds of stuff. I don't know if you can see the mountain out through the trees there. That's where we're headed, up this trail, out to the Pinnacle, which is out that way. So we got quite a ways to go. But it's a beautiful day. Actually, might get a better view of it right up here. Looks like there's a better clearing. Hope there's a tiger swallowtail. Is it gonna land? Oh, it landed. Let's get that on camera. If I can find it. Oh, there it is. Beautiful. Yeah, but do we get a view? Yeah. Well, you can see the mountain a little bit better out here. That's where we're headed. All the way out to the end there. And then back too. And here are my friends, the May apples. They're still blooming, although they're getting a little bit ending their ending their prime a little bit. Yeah, he's looking a little rugged. Yeah, when I was in Shenandoah National Park, we did all kinds of hiking. I didn't see a single May apple down there. Maybe they don't grow down that way. I just thought that was interesting. Yeah, I thought I heard water further down, but here it is, just kind of coming right out of the ground there. Cool. Yeah, we are headed uphill, but just a nice gradual uphill. Be nice on the way back. We're not too far from Panther Springs now. I'll probably take a little break. Oh, this is beautiful down here. Nice little campsite out there. Well, the water is flowing nicely. This is the water coming from Panther Springs. It's beautiful. Yeah, the last several times, last fall when we were at Panther Springs, there was no water flowing like over the rocks. I think that'll be different today.
Alright, so up here is the spot. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, we do have water flowing over the rocks. Well, under them. Oh. Yeah. Check that out. Yeah, so I'm gonna take a little break here. I'm not super tired yet, but like I said, we're in no rush. Just gonna enjoy the water for a little bit, I think. Farewell, Panther Springs. We'll see you on the way back. I'll probably take another break there, much more needed break on the way back. We're going to continue on. So I have not been up this way for quite some time. Like I said, I never actually hiked up this way to the Pinnacle. I hiked down once. But I do know it gets a little bit steeper in some spots up here as we make our way to the top of the ridge. There's another neat little campsite there. Yeah, so a steady uphill, but nothing too steep at the moment. Since it's we're basically hiking up an old road, so it doesn't get too steep. Like sometimes when you're on just a trail, the trail will take you as steep as it needs to sometimes, but these old roads tend to follow a gentler grade sometimes. And here now we have what I call the big turn in the trail. This is where the tail. The trail turns, kind of makes a somewhat gentle ride up to the top of the ridge. I think there's one kind of steep section up here if I remember, but once we get to the top of the ridge, it'll be flat walking for a while. So yeah, so once we get eager to get done with the uphill part here. We're walking into the sun. Actually, I think that spot around the turn was the steepest part. Just trying to think back. That was years ago when I hiked this section, but I think it remains pretty gentle up to the top. Which we'll take a nice little break when we get up there. Here we go. I think we've made it just about to the top. Oh, here's another beautiful campsite. Oh, I remember this spot. Yeah, because you do get kind of a... Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. Huh. Maybe we'll take a break right here. Yeah, because the trail, you're basically at the top here. So I think I'm going to take a break right here. Look at that. Yeah, the perfect little spot here. Just to rest at that uphill. So the rest of this is going to be fairly flat-ish. When you're on a mountain, it's not going to be perfectly flat, but it's still several miles to the Pinnacle. The main uphill's done. Yeah, it's actually kind of weird. I took a small, just a small standing break when I was coming up that hill. I was thinking to myself, it is that time of year. We should come across some thru hikers here on the Appalachian Trail. And literally, like 5 seconds later, I looked up and there was 3 individuals coming down, with the big packs and the hiking poles and everything. So yeah. almost prophetic. All right, well, I'm gonna chill out here for a bit, and then we'll continue on our journey to the Pinnacle. Let's see what time it is, though. So I left the parking lot around 8:50, and it's 9:50. So about an hour we've been hiking. So we've got at least 2 miles. All right, absolutely beautiful spot to take a break. Yeah, there's just enough gaps between the trees to be able to see the mountains out there. Our parking spot was way down there somewhere. Out that way is Hawk Mountain. I think that hill right there is what they call Owl's Head. Then in the Appalachian Trail actually drops down where we were and goes up that ridge out there on the Blue Mountain and continues out that way. All right, farewell, beautiful little break spot. I'll be stopping here on the way back too, probably. But we're gonna continue on. I think this might be what they call the Pinnacle Spur Trail. It's another way to come to the Pinnacle from further that way. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think that is what this trail is. If you park over at the Weiser State Forest, the Port Clinton tract, I know there is a trail that comes that way. That might be it. Alright, so I think this gate represents where we end being on state game lands. It was at number 160. And we enter land belonging to the Hamburg watershed. I do have a notice over here. What does this say? Cooperation wins. Ask permission before you hunt. Yeah, this is no longer state game lands, so. Yeah, so the AT goes up that way, but there's a trail going down this way. There's a sign up there that says to the parking lot, the Hamburg Reservoir. So if you're coming back from the Pinnacle, doing that one loop, a lot of people will come down and go back to the parking lot this way. I don't know if I've ever taken this way. There's another road further up that you can take too. Here's the map. Yeah, a lot of people, if they park at the Hamburg one, they come up the road, go up the Pulpit Rock, and then up to here, come up the Pinnacle. Yeah, we're right here. You can also, there's a road right here you can also take down. That's what I usually do. That's another way you can go up to, but so we're right here. We'll soon reach that road, but then we have all the way to the Pinnacle. Yeah, so we came in from, we're coming in from this way right here. We actually parked up there off the map. All right. Yeah, so this green area is all Hamburg water supply. Yeah, Hamburg Municipal Authority water supply. All right. Oh, see another hiker up there. In this cave I mentioned at the beginning of the video, that's up here. We've been in there a number of times. You can go in pretty far if you want to. I did once. But yeah, back in, just a little preview of what we're gonna do in that video. Yeah, back in winter of 1977, some hikers found the frozen body of some dude up there in that cave. And it remained a mystery for 47 years until they cracked the case just last year. Kind of an interesting story. I don't think we'll find anybody frozen in there today. Yeah, but pretty easy hiking once you get to the top of this ridge. This is a beautiful section here with all the ferns coming up
on either side. A lot of loose rocks on the trail, or the old road. So we should be coming up to the other road soon. It's just beautiful. Alright, so we made it to the next road junction. This open area is a helipad. At least that's what it says on the maps. So I guess if someone gets injured up here, they can fly a helicopter in here. But if there's another information board, I'll be up there in a moment. Yeah, so the AT continues on that way towards the Pinnacle, but a lot of people, after coming back from Pinnacle, they go this way, down that way back to the reservoir parking area. That's what I usually do. After, you know, being out at the parking lot, going up the Pulpit Rock, going to the Pinnacle, I come back this way and swing down that way. Yeah, see now we're here. The last one we were back here. But I often come down this one. Alright, but we have alright, so we have to go all the way out here yet to the Pinnacle. So we still have a bit of walking yet to get out there. But it's a beautiful day, no rush. Let's see, what time is it? Whoops. 10:30, so closing in on 2 hours. The base is shaded out there, so yeah, so 10:50 will be 2 hours. So we've probably gone like, anyway, we've gone at least 3 or so miles yet. I mean, gone at least 3 miles, 3.5 miles probably. Because 2 hours would make up roughly 4 miles. Roughly speaking. So you hike about 1 mile per hour, or 1.2 miles per hour. I figured we'd get to the Pinnacle by 11:30 or earlier. We'll see if that happens. I think we stand a good chance of getting there before 11:30. And we'll see if we get the place to ourselves. I don't know if there's gonna be a lot of people. I've passed, well, 3 through hikers and at least 3 other day hikers coming from this way. So there might be some people up there. It's a weekday. This is Monday. I think it's May 12th. If you come up here on a weekend, the place is just packed. There's people everywhere. It can be hard to find a place to yourself. But even if there are some people up there, we should be able to find a quiet spot. So there's a very distinctive bird call out here. Now they're quiet. Huh. That's it right there. I believe that's the oven bird, they call it. They nest on the ground. Their nest looks like an oven. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. If I knew where he was, I'd zoom in on him, but whew, I might take this little break here and see if I can find him. It's usually the male that's singing there. Female's probably laying on her eggs somewhere. Alright, well, no luck on finding the oven bird. I can hear him. But trudging along. I should say my one leg, my injured leg, is hurt a little bit today. I know I did a little hiking last week at Shenandoah National Park. We'll be alright though. I think it's just a little bit sore from that. At least I hope. Anyway. Just have to take some ibuprofen when I get home. Well, I probably have something in my pack too I can take. Let's check that in a minute here. Alright, we shouldn't be all that far from the Pinnacle. We're just kind of trudging along here. At some point this road kind of disappears as you get to the Pinnacle. Turns more into just a trail. Well,
I found some pills in my first aid kit. Not ibuprofen. I usually have that in my bag, but when I come back from a big trip, like, you know, the trip I took to Shenandoah, sometimes I'm kind of all messed up yet. Not everything's back where it's supposed to be, so I gotta work on that. Alright. Just a little bit of discomfort down there near my ankle. But onward we go. No turning around at this point. We're almost there. Alright, it's now 11 o'clock. Earlier when I said we're almost there, that was not quite accurate. But yeah. So yes, like I said we started around 9 o'clock, just a little bit before 9 o'clock, so about 2 hours. Yeah, so just thinking in my head, like I said, when you come up from the Hamburg Reservoir, come up the AT that way, it's about 2.5 hours. And that's what's this coming from this way is turning out to be about 2.5 hours as well, I think. That's what it'll time out to roughly. Or maybe a little bit sooner. That's one thing I was curious about. The way I'm coming, I think it's a bit longer. About round 5, and I think coming the other way is around 4, but sometimes there's more to mileage when it comes to how long it takes you to do something, like a hike like this. Yeah, but just as I'm talking with you, the road kind of ends. Now up here it's more trail-like, as I mentioned earlier, so we're getting close. Yeah, the trail just becomes this rocky, pointed, sharp rocky kind of nonsense. But that's another sign that you're close. And here we are. Here's the big rock pile. You gotta throw a rock on there every time you come here. But then of course the Appalachian Trail curves around and goes down that way, but the Pinnacle overlook is up there. So I have my rock. There we go. Alright. All to the Pinnacle. Yeah, so it timed out to just under 2.5 hours, so you could say it takes you roughly the same amount of time as it would coming up from the Hamburg Reservoir, depending on which way you come from. So that's kind of interesting. Like I said, it's an alternative route the way I came today, and it's times out about the same. Alright, now out to the Pinnacle. It looks like there's someone target shooting down below. Might hear some gunshots. Alright, cool, out there it is. Yeah, it never gets old. Yeah, but like I said, it never gets old. Just a couple of folks up here. One person recognized me. I think he does some filming himself. Yeah, our cave is down this way. But yeah. Every time I come here, it never gets old. So, beautiful place. I will say this though, it's no Shenandoah National Park though. Like some of the views, I was last week, you know, Stony Man up there, I think it's on South Marshall Mountain, but Stony Man, you're up at like 4,000 feet there. Here it's only like 1,600 feet at the Pinnacle. I'm not taken away from this beautiful place. I'm just saying it is a bit different when you're higher up like that, like several thousand feet more higher. It's just more impressive, the views. Naturally it would be, but still, I'll never get tired of coming up here though either. This beautiful place. And you do want to watch your step. I've never seen one of these up here before, but look at that down there. There's a rattlesnake down there, sunning himself on the rock. Wow. See his head, triangular shaped head there. Wow. Like I said, watch where you step. That's my first time seeing one of those up here. Yeah, there's someone's down there target shooting. Kind of annoying, but just to get you another angle of him down there. He's just chilling. Warming himself up in the sun. Alright. Yeah, over there's the one we saw earlier, but now another one showed up. Check that out. They are coming out. Wow. Alright, but I'm going to start working on making that other video about the cave, the Pinnacle, man. I just gotta really watch where I stepped. See these two out here, so you know there's going to be others up here. In fact, someone else was here earlier. He said he heard something rattling over there at him, so we'll be careful. Yeah, but farewell to the Pinnacle. And to our little buddies down here. Alright, and so begins the journey back. There's the rock pile. So it's 12:30. We should get back. It should take less time to get back than to get up because it's mostly downhill. But don't need to rush. Yeah, my legs feel a little better there, so I don't want to injure that, if you know what I mean. So we'll just take our time. I'm calling 2:30 though, 2 hours to get back. We'll see. Yeah, it was cool to see the rattlesnakes up there. I don't mind snakes. I respect them though. You know, they can bite, they can inflict damage, but it's not their preferred thing to do. You know, they're not going to chase you and stuff. All right, let's get going. We just startled some deer on the way back. You can still see the one. I don't know. 2 went up that way. 1 went up this way. Oh, I can see it. Let's see if we can zoom in on it for you guys. Up there. Can you see it? That's just the back side of it there. It's probably a bit blurry. Up, yep, waving its tail. That's why they're called white-tailed deer. Alright, we'll let it go. And here's our first checkpoint for the way back. So, like I said, normally when I hike this loop I'd be heading down that way, but we're gonna keep going straight. Let me check the time. So about 1 o'clock. Alright, so half hour is up. And we'll keep going to the next checkpoint, which will be the next road that goes down. And here's our second checkpoint, the other road that goes down. Let's see what time it is. Probably about 1:30. At 1:25, so will we make it back in another hour? I don't know about that. We'll see. Our third checkpoint will be that campsite with the kind of the overlook there, right before we start going downhill. Right, right here's that gate. Yeah, so the third checkpoint is not going to be that far at all. It's not, yeah, too far up here, if I remember correctly. We'll probably take a little break there too. Yeah, now we're back on state game lands, number 160 again. Keep forgetting that. That was part of our goal too, was to get to this state game lands. Although I've been here before, but it's for the series that we're doing. I'm trying to get them all in video. It's part of that series. All right, let's make it to that overlook. And here she be. It's actually a pretty short distance between this checkpoint and the last one, but we're gonna take a break here. Bugs are getting a little bad. And as I always say, make sure you bring plenty of drink along. I brought 3 today. Because the second one's almost empty. I'll probably finish it here at this site, so it's nice to have a whole nother bottle yet. And you want to make sure that you don't drink all your drink on the way, up to the site at the beginning of the hike, because you're going to need it for the hike back. Usually it's hotter on the way back, like today. Although it's easier, it's downhill. All right, I'm going to rest here for a little bit, and then we'll head on to checkpoint number 4, which is Panther Springs. All right, well, I could stay at this spot for a while, but we need to get going. So, right, onwards to Panther Springs. So this is our downhill section. So it should go much quicker. Alright, so we just passed checkpoint number 4 back there, Panther Springs. I didn't film it. There's a number of thru hikers there cameling up on water. But there's the spring down there. So it's 150. So it's only about, it's a half hour or less back to the parking lot from here. So we'll definitely make it back before 2:30. So less than 2 hours it looks like, which is pretty good. Alright, and here we leave the AT. It goes up that way, but we'll stay on this road that takes us down to the parking lot. Let's see what time it is. 8 after 2. So we'll still make it there in less than 2 hours, I believe. It's only like a half mile downhill to the parking lot. And right down here is the parking lot, and it is 2:15, so an hour and 45 minutes to get back. So to be honest, it is very comparable to hiking. If you hike at the Hamburg Reservoir, it's about the same time-wise. The time's out almost the same, going there and back. So it's another option. If you, especially if you're coming to the Pinnacle, if you want to, if you just want another way to go to the Pinnacle, or if you're trying to get up there on a weekend and the parking at the reservoir is insane, you can come over here, State Game Lands 160 off of Pine Swamp Road, off of Hawk Mountain Road, and the time's out about the same. So it's another option to think about. As always, folks, thanks for coming along, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one.